All right, whoosh, we're back. Squeeze the Neck podcast. Diesel Gym, the main one today with my new mate. I'm going to try and say this because you said I did it right, but now the pressure's on.
No,
Rinchen Griffiths-Golha.
That is perfect.
Bosh, top man. Thanks for doing
on.
this, bro. I appreciate it. And as I said, Diesel Gym, we've been at the other one, but we're at the main one today. Really appreciate you doing this, mate. But before we start, you've got a mad Instagram page, which is how we got in touch, right?
Yes.
So before I try and introduce you and mess it up, tell us who you are and what you do, mate.
So I'm, like Ollie said, I'm Rinchen Griffiths-Golha. I'm a professional MMA fighter out of Diesel Gym. And at the moment, we've just kind of, me and my coach, John, we've just opened up a new kind of funny Instagram page. We're just trying to put out some extra content for people. Yeah, the people seem to be enjoying it, and they seem to be asking for more of it, so that's it, yeah.
Well, hook me in, bro. So here we are, as we say, at Diesel Gym, chilling out, having a good time. So take us back, mate. Where are you from originally, and how'd you get into martial arts?
So I was born in London. I was born in England.
Which part, mate? Because this is important.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
Which side of the river?
North. North side of the river.
That's the wrong answer, bro. Never mind, as you were.
I was born in East London. My mum's mixed race, and my dad's from Tibet.
Okay.
Just grew up in East London my whole life. Found martial arts at kind of like a young age, I guess, at like 14, 15, and then branched into MMA when my second year of uni. I went to a club quite close to here where I found jiu-jitsu and MMA, and then that's it. Just kept the ball rolling from there.
Where's that, mate? What was the club?
It was called Fight for Peace.
Okay.
It's actually quite close to this location. It was a charity club. So the reason I went was because I was so broke as a uni student, and I was looking up free jiu-jitsu trials.
Oh really?
Yeah, because I had a friend who was in the same cohort as me doing sports science. His name's Faris. You might be aware of him.
Yeah, that rings. Who's Faris? That
yeah,
rings a
well,
bell.
he's doing very well in jiu-jitsu right now. He's a black belt.
Right.
He competes internationally
What's
and
his
nationally.
surname?
I'm going to mispronounce his surname, so
That's
I don't
right. I did all right on yours, so got pressures on
I don't,
you.
I don't want to mispronounce his surname, but I met him and I was like, oh, this guy's cool. And then I went on his Instagram and I was like, oh, this guy's he's really good. He's like a national champion. He'd won had many accolades at that point.
Right.
And I thought to myself, oh, I'll try out this jiu-jitsu thing. But again, like I said, I was broke. And jiu-jitsu is especially in London, I feel like jiu-jitsu is quite a middle class. It has a kind of air, especially gi jiu-jitsu, has a kind of air of middle class, kind of expensive vibe to it, and I couldn't afford it. So I just had to free trials, went to Fight for Peace, and it was free. The whole club was free. Everything. They did Muay Thai, boxing, MMA, jiu-jitsu, judo. It was all free until you're 26.
Until you're 26.
Until you're 26.
So when you're over 26,
they just kick you out. They just kick you out. They ain't even got a choice. But no, they were really nice there, very welcoming. And I started there. Started with a coach called Steve O'Keefe, doing jiu-jitsu, and Daniel Sam doing Muay Thai. And I just kind of fell in love with that kind of competitive martial arts there.
That's cool. And how old are you now, mate?
Now I'm 27.
Oh, you're ancient, bro. You're
Getting
too old.
man.
You're past
Yeah.
26, mate. You
That's
can't go
it.
no more.
That's it. I'm old, man. I've got broken knees, broken elbows,
Don't
sore
say that,
back.
bro. Don't say that. Don't say that to me. Don't say that to me. So you said you got into martial arts young before you was doing all that. What was you doing?
I was doing taekwondo.
Like traditional style martial arts?
Yeah, traditional style martial arts as in year 8, year 9. The club opened at my secondary school. I had a really funny maths teacher, and then he eventually became the vice principal of the school. But he opened the taekwondo club because he was a black belt, and he just thought it would help some kids kind of focus better. And we were all naughty kids fucking about, and sorry, can I swear?
Of course, yeah.
Okay,
so
cool,
yeah.
yeah.
I've sworn about 8 times already,
I'm good
mate.
for
Not about
I
that.
think that was nice. Yeah, we were all naughty kids, kind of mucking about, and but we were good at, we had good academic score, but we just weren't well behaved, so it kind of focused us a little bit,
Right.
having an outlet.
Yeah,
for-
you're a
for
black
that
belt in
energy.
taekwondo yourself?
Yeah, I am.
So
yeah,
you're going to demonstrate a
no,
spinning kick
fuck
today,
no,
or what?
no, God, no, my knee can't take it, not anymore. I'm
What's
old
up with
now.
your knee? Keep mentioning your knee. What's wrong with it?
So I had an accident when I was a bit younger.
Okay.
And I had I had a surgery. I have pins in my knee. I
Okay.
had pins in my knee, pins in my shin, pins in my
Oh, bad one,
tibialis,
bad
pins in my
knee.
thing. Yeah, I had a big car accident.
Oh, car, not even anything to do with martial arts?
No, I was just walking across the street and I got taken out by a car. So that was fun. But yeah, it's all good now.
It's good now.
It's kind of good now. It's kind of good now. Yeah,
I got you. But what's your sort of like? Obviously, you mentioned gi before, jiu-jitsu and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we're at Diesel, and for anyone who doesn't know, this is the home of 10th Planet
no
in London.
gi only.
I mean, gi might be. I don't know. Gi might be a dirty word, Randy. You might have to duck your head if you walk in with a gi. But I'm assuming you're no gi'd up now because you're a private MMA fighter anyway.
Now, yeah. Definitely now, but when I started, like I said, when I started at Fight for Peace, they had judo and they had no gi as well as gi,
right? Okay.
Jiu-jitsu. So we practiced all of it. It was a great environment to kind of dip your toe into loads of martial arts at once and kind of pick what you prefer. At the time, luckily, I was like, oh, I prefer everything. Right. I like the boxing, I like the Muay Thai. I wasn't good at boxing and Muay Thai, but I liked it. And then I found myself. Kind of having like a natural affinity, maybe like I enjoyed jiu-jitsu and judo a lot.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, this is wicked.
That's cool, man. Yeah, because I tell you what, I'm like a broken record. I mention it here all the time. My first love was boxing. Like, did you box? Obviously, East London's quite famous for boxing.
I didn't until I went to Fight for Peace.
Right, because sorry, the reason I asked that, there's something called, I think it's called Fight for Change, which is like a boxing sort of equivalent of what you're saying. I think I don't know if they're related or whatnot, but it's called Fight for Change. They do it in different boxing clubs. Where I don't know an awful lot about it, but from what I understand, it's sort of a similar sort of charity-based thing, boxing clubs and whatnot.
So the Fight for Peace one, it was started by a Brazilian guy who started a free club in somewhere in Brazil.
Right.
And now they've opened up to do. Who's
that? Do you know who that is?
I've forgotten his name.
Oh, you're great with names,
I'll tell you, man. I haven't been to Fight for Peace for a long time, so it's been a minute.
You're too old now, right?
I'm too old,
you're
exactly.
Over 26. Indiscriminate people. I'm not into all that.
But they open up the club specifically in like the worst areas, traditionally the worst areas. So obviously, Woolwich has quite a bad rep,
right?
And it's North Woolwich. That's why they opened it there. The same as I think the Brazilian club started in like a favela, and I think they have another sister club somewhere else that's like a pretty shit fucking area.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got
so that's why they do it like that.
Yeah.
So it's to kind of keep kids away from the street up until they're 26, and after that, the charity money runs out.
It's a funny age, 26, isn't it? Not 21. Like, what's
after 26, they assume you're going to get a job, I guess.
Well, okay, yes, you should be married or something at that point, I guess. Anyway, not that I am, but there you go. So take us through like your MMA career, mate. When did you decide you want to be an MMA fighter and all that?
Oh man, it was. I never said to myself, I'm definitely going to be an MMA fighter.
Right.
When I started doing MMA at Fight for Peace or doing jiu-jitsu and dipping my toes into the other martial arts at like 20 years old, 19, 20 years old, my coach at the time had another gym. Steve O'Keefe had another gym called Revolution Martial Arts. And all the guys that were kind of like at a good level doing Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu at Fight for Peace were doing MMA with him at this other gym in Dartford. And it was I kind of like latched on. These guys were so cool, man. I went into that gym. It was awesome. There were guys there that were my age that would kick the living shit out of me. And obviously, someone that had done martial arts for a little while, I was like, okay, I kind of know martial arts. Like, I'm not terrible, right? They beat the living crap out of me every day, and I was like, damn, I think I know something. That's crazy. I don't know shit. You know what I mean? I need to get better at this because I can't allow another person to beat the shit out of me.
And how old was you at the time?
20, 19.
Oh yeah, so
19,
young.
20, yeah.
Gotcha.
And these guys are all similar ages. Some of them are a lot younger than me. Some of them 2 years younger than me, 3 years younger than me, kicking the shit out of me. And I was like, I can never allow another 16-year-old to kick the shit out of me.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
No, not so a good look, 16.
You know what I mean? So I had to figure out where these guys are going and latch onto them and see what they're doing and what they're training. And like I said, they were training with Steve O'Keefe at Revolution Martial Arts and pursuing MMA. So a lot of them pursued. So there was Joanne Scott, John McFadden, who's my coach now, Kingsley Crawford. Just to name a few, those guys were very close to Sabir Hussein. There were a lot of guys, and then obviously larger guys and big guys. Those were just guys at a similar weight that I trained with all the time. And yeah, those guys were pursuing MMA as well, and I kind of followed them around where they were going to Revolution. And within a couple of months, I had my first MMA fight. I didn't even think it would happen,
Nice.
but my coach kind of just said, "Yep, you're gonna have a fight." I was like, "Okay." Cool. I didn't know anything about it. I even made a mistake when he was like, because I was at the time, it was obviously amateur. I was competing at bantamweight, which is 61 kilos, and I was walking around at like 62, 63 kilos.
Right.
Like I wasn't big, and I had no idea about weight cuts or anything like that. But because everybody there trained 3 times a day, 2 times a day, every day, we were all doing that. We all kept like a kind of low weight.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know anything about weight cutting. So when my coach told me, okay, it's the fight week, take a little bit of time off, I took the whole week off. And he called me on the Friday, where the fuck are you? I was like, I don't know. I was like, you told me to take the week off. He's like, no, I didn't mean that. He said, you still got to come to training. I was like, oh shit. And then anyway, I went, I had my first fight. I lost my first 3 fights in a row. Made some big changes.
This is all at bantamweight, is it?
This was all at bantamweight. Yeah, this was all at bantamweight. Yeah, lost my first 3 fights in a row at amateur. Didn't let that kind of deter me. Just kept training, and then started picking up wins. And then went on like a nice little win streak towards the end of my amateur career. Won a few belts, and then started my pro career last year.
Right. And how many amateur fights did you end up having?
I think I went 5-4.
Right, okay, cool. So you turned it right around, nice, yeah. And what weight was you doing? Did you stay at bantamweight the whole time?
No, so that was a big thing. So I lost 3 at bantamweight.
Right.
Then I won 1 at bantamweight.
Right.
Then I lost 1 at bantamweight. So that was the 5 at bantamweight that I had. Then I made a change, went down to flyweight, figured out what weight cutting was like, okay, I'm gonna try that. That sounds cool. I'll actually try a weight cut. Right. Figure that out. Because again, if you're walking around like under 65 kilos, cutting to flyweight is not hard.
No. What's flyweight? 57, right?
57, yeah. But then I took 5 fights at flyweight, won them all, and then picked up 2 belts along the way.
Nice.
Like local belts.
And was that the issue? Did you, looking back, were they too big for you at bantam?
I didn't get the feeling they were too big for me.
Yeah.
But at flyweight, I got the feeling I was too big for everybody else.
Right. Okay. And do you feel good? Do you feel good fighting on flyweight?
Oh yeah,
your body's good. I mean, you don't feel depleted or anything like that.
Not really. Yeah. Not really. I have a fantastic S&C coach, Chris, and Chris Excel Strength and Conditioning.
Excel. Okay.
He works here as well.
Oh, does he? Okay.
He's just literally right there. Is that blue door?
Gotcha.
Shout out to Chris. But he's fantastic. He helps me a lot with my like rehydration and nutrition leading up to the fights and everything. He helped me figure all that out. When I figured all that out, I was like, oh damn, weight cutting isn't hard. You just got to be a bit strict with yourself. Yeah. And I wasn't strict to myself.
Do you know what? It's funny. I had a similar conversation yesterday with a fella in GB Top Team. I don't know if you know him, Wesley Magic Meyer.
Oh, yeah, I've heard
you know Wesley, right? He fought a guy here actually.
Yeah, he fought shows like
that's it. We spoke about
2 or 3 times now. Two times now.
2 times, yeah. We spoke all about that. But he was talking about weight cuts as well when he got his weight stuff together. He was at bantamweight. But he stayed at bantamweight. He was just really struggling with the bantamweight to get down to it. He's very thick. He's very
he's massive.
He's very jacked up. And he spoke about like getting a proper thing on how easy it is, how it changed his career and stuff like that.
Yeah, it does. It changes everything. It changes your perspective as well.
Right.
Changes your energy levels. You're training. You feel good all the time. When I remember doing my amateur fights, even after like hard days of training, I'd go home. I'd just eat whatever the fuck I wanted. I'd get chicken and chips on the way home, go home, eat dinner, and then eat like a tub of ice cream. Because I thought I deserved it. I trained hard.
You trained hard.
Yeah. I've done 3 sessions today. This is what I want.
Yeah.
It kept my weight low, but it wasn't healthy. You know?
No, it can't be. And you get away with it when you're young, wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You get a bit older, that fucking runs out. But when you turned pro, was you like planning on turning pro for a while, or was it like a spur of the moment thing?
Sorry. After I won the two amateur titles, I was like, my coach was telling me, I think you're ready.
Right. Okay.
There are pros out there that you're better than. You've trained with pros, you've sparred with other pros, and you've bested them on like sparring days. You're better than them in training. Why not take a pro fight? Right. And especially when I was getting to the end of the last 2 amateur fights, I was kind of thinking to myself, damn, I think I could hang with some pros. I watched pros fight a lot, and I was like, oh, they're not that different. And again, even from the days when I was training with Steve O'Keefe at Revolution, like this is like 6-7 years ago now. A lot of those guys were pros anyway. I was training with them. Right. So that kind of gave me the inspiration to kind of get it cracking.
Hello.
Let me just get
no worries. Sorry, in a working gym, let people in.
How you doing? How you say, Reece? You good? Yeah, good man.
How you doing, mate? Nice to see you.
Well, we have a class at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. All right, I see. So the boys are coming in for a tear up. Yeah. Nice, I got you.
And I'll be with Sal. Hey, what's up? You good, brother?
How you doing, mate?
Did you end up paying for that groin guard?
No.
I'll sort you out later. Yeah. That's a better day today to sort out. Yeah, man.
So the boys are coming in for a tear up. What's the class? 10 Planet?
It's it's a MMA class.
MMA class.
Yeah, it's MMA class.
Proper tear up.
Yeah, proper tear up with Sal.
Nice. Are you supposed to be training them? Am I taking your time? Am I held you out of it? No. I was going to say, because you made it now, mate. You're on the fucking squeeze the neck. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm busy now.
But so, like, with your pro career, take us to your pro debut, mate. Because obviously, was that a big thing? Because I tell you why I asked. A lot of people kind of have asked about like their pro debut specifically. Some of them are like, oh, it was a massive thing, blah blah. And other people are kind of like rolls off the shoulder. There doesn't seem to be much of an in between.
To me, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
To me, it was a big deal. It's a step up. It's the unknown as well, because now suddenly there's a whole other arsenal of things you can do. There's elbows, there's like twisters, heel hooks. There's a chance you can get your bloody knee torn apart.
5-minute rounds as well.
5-minute rounds. 5-minute rounds, nothing. But if you're an amateur and you fought like any title fights, 5-minute rounds doesn't mean anything.
Right. Okay.
And then you got the little gloves. It was the little gloves for me. That was the thing. I've never been hit with a little glove in my life. I've been hit in the face with no glove, but I've never been hit with a little glove on over and over again, right? You don't know what that kind of damage is going to feel like accumulated over time. And I had no idea what it was going to be like. And also my coach, we don't really take easy fights. We've never really looked for like cherry-picked opponents or anything. A lot of guys even at amateur level in MMA, they really try and cherry-pick their opponents, you know. They know who they are as well. They know who I'm talking about. But they'll pick guys that, you know, have like 2 wins and 11 losses, no wins and like 15 losses. You know what I mean? You know, I went to fight a guy that was coming off a TKO win. You know what I mean? I think I was fighting Aaron LA at the time. I've forgotten his record now. At the time, he was 3 wins and 4 or 5 losses as a pro. He'd fought like 9 times as a pro, but he'd just come off a TKO win. You know, he was good. He was very seasoned. He'd fought on Cage Warriors. He'd fought everywhere. So we weren't looking for easy fights.
And I'm assuming you turned pro at flyweight, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And what, you had 2 fights now at pro?
3.
3. And how's your record?
Yeah, so I'm 2-1 now.
2-1, right,
2-1.
nice.
So I fought Aaron LA, then I took a little bit of time off, I got married, that was good.
Got married. Never mind, mate, doesn't matter.
Yeah, got nice and fat, then I had to trim it all back down again.
Nice.
Fought again in October and then November. So I fought in Shock and Awe in October, I lost that unfortunately, and then I took a fight on 6 days notice, and I won that in November.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was at bantamweight.
I was going to say, that's exactly what I was going to ask you. With the 6 days notice, that's a motherfucker. Because what do you walk around at now? What are you sitting here?
Sitting at maybe like 66.
66. So yeah, it's a decent cut, and that's still a fair cut to get there. Because you know,
but you know, if you have 2 months, a month.
Yeah, but 6 days it ain't happening.
But 6 days, no, 6 days it ain't happening.
And what's your training like? Are you a year-round trainer?
Yeah, year-round.
You're
year round.
All the time.
Don't really take take off as a holiday, but
right,
that's it.
Getting married and all that shit.
Yeah,
all that irrelevant stuff.
Honestly,
joking. But so if you're like in a normal week before a fight camp, like what's a week look like for you, mate?
Training twice a day. Most days training once a day on like sparring days.
Right.
I pretty much do strength and conditioning 4 or 5 times a week as well.
Oh right, a lot.
Because I have like knee issues from surgeries and previous years. I have to take it quite seriously.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, no worries, mate. I'm taking you out of the game, aren't I? So, all good. Let the boys in. Let the boys in. How you doing, mate?
But yeah, like I said, because I have like knee issues and surgeries, and you pick up little injuries all the time training. So the best way to kind of avoid that is to keep your body strong, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. What strength conditioning look like for you?
The
reason I ask you is because a lot of people, I think, like, if you're not aware, people will think strength and conditioning just means circuits all the time, right?
Yeah, no,
power cleans and all that kind of stuff.
So originally, when I started doing a bit of like weight work, I started doing Olympic lifting.
Okay.
And I was having a lot of fun with that. Then I wasn't able to do Olympic lifting anymore, so I started doing more strength and conditioning with Chris. And it's a mixture of different things. It's a mixture of like, there's conditioning days, you can't just do circuits every day, condition yourself every day, your body will fatigue, right? So it's a mixture of conditioning days, power blocks, strength blocks, different blocks for different periods, and then he periodizes everything very well leading up to the fight as well. So I'm at my strongest kind of the week of the fight. Yeah.
And what's training look like? So I know you said like twice a day, once a day on sparring days at camp, if you like. But what sort of training do you do? Do you separate things, or is it always MMA?
No, I separate things. Yeah. There's generally an MMA session most days, and then there's typically a grappling session or like a striking specific.
Yeah.
Thing like whether it's pads or whether it's like a class.
That's cool.
That's not really
nice. And how about camp? Does it change in camp?
You know what? I can't train so much. Camp doesn't really matter.
Right. Okay.
My camp isn't massively different. The training's more intense.
Yeah.
So in the training, I'll be doing more shark tanks. There'll be more sparring, but the volume of training, I wouldn't say it changes.
Yeah. And what about how long before a fight is ideal for you for sort of like, I keep saying camp, like it's a bit of a grey area in it, camp, because different people interpret it different. But like, if you've got a fight coming up, how long before does the intensity turn up and stuff like that?
Hey, you right, guys?
Hey,
you right, Sam?
You right?
So you good?
Hello, mate. You right? Nice one.
So I'd say, are they all right in the background?
Oh, 100%, mate. Yeah, of course. I'm barging in, mate. These kill the background noise anyway.
Sick. So I'd say I take I'd like 6 weeks.
Right.
Everyone likes 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But when you train all year round, you can take a fight in 6 days.
Right.
You know
You're
what I
ready
mean?
anyway.
And I felt fine. You know? I felt fine. I took a fight in 6 days against a game opponent, a good guy with a positive record again. And yeah, I felt good doing it.
That's good. No,
It
nice.
didn't feel any different to any other fight.
And obviously, like 3 fights in is quite early days for the pro career, isn't it? Have you got sort of like goals and ambitions, or are you one of them that kind of just play it by ear and just enjoying the journey?
This game is hard to have ambition.
Right.
Like it is hard to have goals because there's no linear path. There's no like, you can't be like, oh, this person did these things, I will also do those things, and then it will work, right? It doesn't work like that.
No, right.
You will get injured along the way. You will take losses. You will take hard fights that kind of not derail your career, but will slow your progression.
Yeah.
Other people jump ahead of you and get opportunity that you don't get. So I try to kind of roll with the punches and see whatever comes, I'll take it. So like for instance, this year I want to have a goal. I want to fight 5-6 times.
Do you really? Yeah, a lot.
I'd love to. I'd love to fight 5 times, but I know that that's unrealistic because every fight you take, there's an accumulation of damage, possibly. So you have to kind of hold yourself accountable to those things.
Yeah,
you know?
but you know what I'm saying? Like, are you one of them that's like, yeah, I want to be UFC champion. I want to do this, this, and this.
I want to be the best that I can be.
Okay.
I want to be the best that I can be.
I got you.
If that means that I get to the UFC, which I hope it does, and if that means that I get to the fight for title again, which I really fucking hope it does, then that's great. But I just want to be the best martial artist that I can be. I want to be good in every aspect of martial arts.
I got you.
I want to be a good boxer, good at jiu-jitsu. I want to be able to hang with a Muay Thai fighter. I want to be able to hang with any grappler. I want to be able to do all martial arts everywhere.
And you graded in jiu-jitsu?
So I just got my purple belt from Jamie.
Good man, nice, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Nice. There was a grading here recently, wasn't it?
Actually? Yeah,
I see that.
There was a grading here. I missed that because I just come back from holiday.
Yeah.
And then like 2 days later, Jamie gave me my purple belt.
Oh, good on him, because I saw Ash.
It was just 2 days after Ash, actually.
Well, yeah, he got his black belt. So shout out Ash. That was nice to see.
Yeah, shout out to Ash. He got his black belt. Yeah,
and he teaches a great class on Saturday, which is how I know.
He does.
I come down for the roles. And his brother's a great grappler as well, by the way.
Fantastic.
Darius. So
Darius
shout out all the boys that come to the leg locking class. But like, are you a fan of it? Because a lot of guys don't even watch. Sorry, go on, mate. Answer the door. Don't let me hold you up.
What are we saying, bro? Come on, Eddie. Good man.
No,
it's good, bro. It's good.
All good. We're in a working gym, guys. We're in a working gym.
Got on,
all adds flavour to the podcast anyway. But are you a fan of MMA? Because a lot of guys I say a lot of guys, some guys, I shouldn't say a lot, some like fighters you talk to don't watch fighting. They're not really fans of fighting, they just enjoy doing it.
Yeah. I know, I'm definitely a fan.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a fan.
And the reason I ask, because we're about, as this will come out later, but we're about 36 hours away from Islam Makhachev fighting. And
massive fight.
Merab Devashvili and all that kind of stuff.
It's just 4 guys fighting from the other side of the same fucking mountain, isn't it? You know?
Yeah,
you see the
of course. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? That's it. And this is one of them. Also, I think that it could go either way, couldn't it? Any of these fights, I wouldn't be surprised any result of any of these fights.
Tarukin could take it. He's been on fire.
That would surprise me the most, to be fair.
Yeah,
if
because
he
Islam's been so dominant,
right?
But not because
he's not great.
Not because Tarukin couldn't win, but because Islam is Islam.
Yeah, the reason these 2 fights really interest me is because whoever wins, I don't see anyone else in the divisions troubling them. I think these 2 in each division, so it's 4 of them, but 2 in each division is they're quite far ahead of the pack. Do you know what I mean?
They are, man. They're leagues ahead.
Yeah.
Man. Who did Ahmed just beat?
Who did he axe kick? I can't remember the last fight.
Charles Oliveira.
Charles Oliveira was the last one.
Charles Oliveira was the one you beat, right?
Was that the last one? The reason I stalled, I thought there was one between it. You might be right.
Maybe there was one between it.
I remember the Charles Oliveira one.
Maybe there was one between that. But Islam's beat him as well.
Right.
Islam's beating everybody.
The way Islam dealt with Charles as well was insane.
Man. The way he beats these guys is he looks like a mauling, right?
Yeah.
And Tarukin's beat really top 3 guys, top 4 guys in very dominant fashion as well.
Yeah.
Beating Charles is a big deal. So it's just a crazy fight. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, I don't know if you've ever been around him. I've never met Islam in person or anything like that. But from what
I've never met anybody famous.
Well, you're on the squeeze the neck guy.
Yeah, that's true. I'll squeeze the neck now, baby.
No, I'm joking. But from what I hear, he's huge. From people I know that have seen him in person, they say he's for the weight, he's insanely big.
Well, funnily enough, I just have kind of a gauge because I've seen Fiziev. Rafael Fiziev did a weight cut here one time, and I know that he's not much. Him and Arman are a similar height.
Right.
And then when I see Arman do the face-off with Islam, I was like, oh my God, Jesus, there's like a head between them, you know what I mean? And that does make a difference. You know, people don't really understand, but you know, when it comes to the grappling, leverages make a massive difference. And then also when it comes to the striking, just having those extra 6 inches, like 4 or 5 inches, is going to make a massive difference. But then also, Islam struggled with the first fight with Volkanovski. Volkanovski's a midget, right? I reckon that guy's about as tall as I am.
And that can be a problem, can't it? That's an issue, man. Just fighting a smaller, it's not a smaller guy, really. It's a shorter guy, isn't it?
Just
you know
shorter.
what I mean?
Yeah. Mass-wise, they're the same, but he's just shorter.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting. But then look what he did to Volkanovski second time round. It's all arguable, should it have happened, but whatever, it happened.
Yeah, and you know yourself, mate, it's like any given day it can go one way or the other, can't it? Do you know what I mean? If it's close, 100%. Some days it can be a massive dominant one. The one that intrigues me is the other fight more. Because even though I can see the main event going both ways, I kind of feel like pretty confident Islam's going to get the main event. But then the other one, Merab and Umar, mate, I change my mind every 2 seconds on that one. Really? I can't figure it out.
Merab, he's a weird one, right? Because he has this kind of he has this kind of confidence, and it's going to be interesting to see Umar fighting somebody at the top of the table now, right? Like the guys he's fought have been obviously very good, but Merab does kind of seem like he's on another level. However, we've also seen Merab get hurt. We've never seen Umar get hurt. We've never seen Umar look like he's in a spot of danger ever, right? Literally, he's just done very well against everybody. He's never looked like he's had legit. I don't think it's arguable. Like, has he lost a round? Right? Especially not in the UFC.
Yeah, I was going to say definitely not in the UFC. You don't know about the rest of it. But like, if Merab hadn't had his last fight the way it was, I would have picked Umar for sure. Right. But the last fight, I just thought he looked fucking... I know it was a bit weird. He was doing some weird stuff in there. Kissing his back. He stopped the round early and
taking
things. But he was dominant, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean? He got, again, you said he got hurt. He got kicked in the belly at one point, didn't he? He got kind of teeped.
Right, he's been...
And he seemed... like he was...
Ricky Simone, I mean, the Ricky Simone put him out, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Do you remember that? Like, it was that was a strange situation.
It was like a mountain of guillotine. He was kicking his legs
hard
as he could, you know what I mean?
He was like fit, wasn't he? It was very strange. But it's like, that last fight, I feel like it was almost like he arrived. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's made his mark now, whereas Sean might have had something wrong. He's made not an excuse, but they've said about his rib and whatnot, haven't they?
I do feel like Merab's confidence might keep him through. But then those Dagestani guys, man, they have such a pride in themselves, and they have confidence. They just don't exude confidence, right? Because they keep it very humble. Yeah, they're a scary people, man.
That's it. And also, I feel like they every time they fight, they come to a level. Yes, we've just been talking about you, Ash.
Good.
We've just been talking about you. Say hello to the podcast, bro.
You're both on now.
Yeah, exactly. No, this guy reckons he tapped you out in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 1,000 times.
He was singing your praises.
Just let the podcast show. Ashley gave you the dirtiest look.
But so what's your pick on that fight, mate?
I do think the longer it stays on the feet, the better it goes for Umar.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because he does have super underrated striking. Yeah. And it's not underrated. Everybody knows he can strike. It's just he strikes it super kind of unorthodox. I don't know if there's anybody that you can get to be like, oh, can you copy what Umar does, Merab, in training? Can you throw all these amazing kicks and then also grapple the hell out of me?
Well, I think that's what makes the striking so good, if you like. Whether people say the striking's not that good, it is. But I think, I think it is. But also, they've got their grappling's at such a level, whereas they can almost let it go, can't they? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Islam got chinned once early in his career, didn't he? I forget the guy's name.
That guy was training with Sarukian.
Was he?
Yeah, okay. I see footage of that guy training with Sarukian, which I thought was very funny.
Was it Adriano Martins?
Yeah, it was a Brazilian guy.
I can't remember the guy. Anyway, Cowboy kicked him in the head, whoever I'm thinking of, didn't he? And beat him. But he got chinned against him. But outside of something like that happening, I feel like they're in a situation where they can let their hands go a bit anyway. Because
100%.
Like if you look at Khabib fight Conor, he's only got to like flinch a little bit, and Conor's so fucking scared, not scared, but you know what I mean. He's panicked about the takedown. The striking becomes open, and these guys are running with it.
And then if you watch Islam's last couple fights, he's looked so much more dominant with his striking, especially if you see what he did against Volkanovski the second time. Yeah, you know his striking looks so much cleaner. He looks so much tighter. His stance looks so much more measured. You know, he doesn't rush. Yeah. So it's hard to count him out, man.
But also the first fight that was close, there's something with a weight cut on that. I'm not sure, and someone might be able to correct me exactly what happened, but it was something along the lines of, because it was in Australia and the time difference, it gave him less time to rehydrate after. So from weigh-in to fight was a lot shorter for Islam, and as we said, he's a massive sort of lightweight.
From weigh-in to fight was a lot shorter?
So from like when he weighed in to make 155 pounds, being able to rehydrate to the fight because I think it was on US time.
Oh,
so the next day, instead of it being the evening, it's in the morning in Australia. Earlier. So I think that cuts in, and people were saying that might have made a difference.
Oh, I had no idea.
You never know, right? But like, if that was a thing, that could have played a part, right?
Oh, it could have, yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, I definitely could have. I love having 24 hours to rehydrate.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get longer, right? Yeah. I love it. They'll be like, oh, what time's weigh-in? They'll be like, oh, it's 11. And then what time you fighting? They'll be like 9. I'm like, yes.
The next day.
Yeah, because weigh-in will be at 11 a.m. I'll be fighting at 9 p.m.
So
you know what I mean? I've had like 30 hours.
Maths on point, 34. Nice one, bye-bye.
I'll take over 30 hours sometimes.
34 hours, I think
man, it's great. I love it.
So that's massive, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like amateur boxing days. I don't know if you've ever done any amateur boxing.
No, I never did any amateur
boxing. Like some of them, like you weigh in and you're in the ring fucking an hour later. Do you know what I mean? Like if you get pulled out and you're first on, you're like, fucking hell, like I'm in. Do you know what I mean? So you can't really cut weight anyway, and not that anyone knows what they're doing.
It's to kind of stop people doing that, right?
Yeah,
which I don't think is a bad thing.
No.
I don't think it is bad. I think day of weigh-ins, especially for amateur level, is probably a good thing.
Yeah, because if you're fighting regular, you should be close to your weight anyway, right? You shouldn't be killing yourself to get there. But
and I think that's what they're trying to encourage, right?
And there's no right way. Because whatever way you do it, people are going to try and get the advantage, innit? Do you know what I mean? You can't cut it out because people are going to try and cheat anyway.
Oh,
not that it's cheating, but you know what I'm saying? Like they're going to find the advantage to get it. So what can you do? Like, have you got a preference on how to cut weight? Like you said with your strength and conditioning coach or whatever.
Yeah,
do you have like a set pattern on what's the right way to get down?
I'm quite strict with my weight cut. Right. Well, I say I'm quite strict. Other people disagree that but
is that right?
Yeah, my coach will be laughing at me right now.
All right.
But I am quite strict with my weight cut. I feel like I am. I cut out all salt and carbs quite early on.
Okay.
And then I maintained that for like 2 weeks.
And what's early on? Sorry, you say early on?
About 2 weeks out, I start cutting out. I start cutting out carbs, start halving the amount of carbs I eat.
Right.
And then about a week out, I cut out all salt, then all carbs, and then I keep it nice and lean. It's just protein and healthy fats.
Is this taken care of for you? Someone else is doing.
No, I'm doing it all.
Are you doing it yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing it all. I'm doing it all.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, well, me and my wife. My wife helps a lot. You know what I mean? She kind of keeps me on straight. I'm very fat. I'm like a glutton. Right. So it's like when I eat bad food, I eat a lot of bad food all at once.
If it's there, you'll eat it. Yeah, I got you.
Or I don't eat any bad food.
Yeah.
That's my choice. I'll either eat the whole cake or none of the cake.
Or don't bother.
You know what I mean? Yeah, right. So that's kind of the problem. So, but she does help a lot. She keeps me on the right path when it comes to that.
Sorry, guys, don't let us quieten you down. We got the mics. We're all good. So don't let me come in and take over, man. You're all good.
In the cupboard, in the top cupboard. No, it's not. It's
all right. Yeah, right.
On the left.
Yeah. So like with the weight cuts and stuff, you're not struggling anymore. You're all set.
Yeah.
You can stay at the weight you're at now for a long time if you wanted to. Yeah. But is your plan to go up to bantamweight at a certain point?
I mean, the only reason I took it was because it was a last-minute fight.
Yeah.
I don't really see myself staying at bantamweight.
Right, okay.
The bantamweight's a big man.
Yeah.
I look at guys like Wesley and Sherzad.
I was just going to say Wesley yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. And Sherzad from this gym, they are huge and they are very strong. There's a very big difference in our strengths. Yeah. And again, they cut from a massive weight down.
Well, Wesley was saying, and he said it on camera, so I'm not like I'm outing him or anything like that. I'm talking out of turn. Everything was on the podcast, but he was saying he's like, when he's in shape and he's training hard and eating right before a cut, he's like 74 kilo.
74?
Yeah.
Jesus. You know? He looks like it though.
He's thick. He's not that tall. He's
jacked.
But he's jacked. He's proper jacked. He's like, he was, running around with his shirt off in the gym, I think, just to show his muscles off. But nah, he was, he's proper jacked. You know what I mean? Just one of them guys that's naturally built that way. Do you know what I mean?
If I was to get to 74 kilos, I'd look like crap.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'd be like a fat out of shape.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? I don't think I've been 74 kilos since I was 18.
Was you a fat kid? Was you?
Yeah,
was you one of them?
Yeah, definitely.
What's the meal of choice after the fight? Are you one of them that goes pigs out?
Do you know what? I always have the same thing. I always have like a roast.
Oh, right, okay.
I love having a roast, man. Yeah, I want potatoes, I want gravy, I want chicken, beef, I want all of it.
I'll do it. Dessert man or not?
Pardon?
You a dessert man or not?
Yes, I want pavlova, I want cake, I want everything. I want ice cream, especially after the fight. Nothing.
Did you balloon up? Did you get up in weight?
I jump up about 4 kilos.
Ash's laughing off camera, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I jump up about 4 kilos, but a lot of that's just salt and water.
4, that's not bad, is it? 4's easy.
But that's in like 24 hours.
Yeah, but even still, 4's not a big deal, right? I mean, obviously you're in a lighter weight, so 4's a bit more.
See, he's trying to say I get fat as fuck.
We got to get Ash on this podcast that's avoided me. I want him on. He's got a big personality and he pretends he hasn't.
Yeah, exactly, right.
But with the food and stuff after the fight, do you allow yourself a period of time? Or
Definitely. Yeah. I give myself like 3 or 4 days.
And what is that, a mental thing more than the physical? Just to
it's just a relaxation thing as well.
I mean,
It's a relaxation thing because again, you're cutting hard for the camp. You're training hard for the camp. It's nice to have 3 or 4 days where you're not training as hard. The thing is, even if I win or lose my fights, generally speaking, I'm back in the gym on Monday training.
Yeah.
And luckily I work at this gym, so I feel very comfortable being in this gym. So I'm back in the gym Monday regardless.
Nice.
I've got to get my shift done.
That goes a long way.
I've got to get my shift done. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you know, typically, yeah, I'm in the gym training, and I just like to take. Maybe I'll do one training session a day.
Right.
That'll be the difference.
But but I think a lot of that, not just the physicals. Obviously, if you've been in a fight and you've been kicked in the legs and whatever, you need a bit of physical recovery anyway, right? But
yeah, a little bit.
I just feel like a mental break is beneficial, right?
Yeah,
because I've done it and everyone does it. You know, where you train too hard for too long.
Yeah.
And there's days you turn up at the gym and you're like,
yeah, suffering from burnout is real, man.
Yeah. And even if you force yourself here, which we all do, you're sitting on, you know, in a session, you're not taking nothing in anyway. You're wasting your time, aren't you? You might as well be at home.
Yeah, I've got a funny story about like 2 or 3 times I was been hard in camp. I've been training in the morning, hard S&C session. I come down, train MMA, hard session. Then I'm sitting in jiu-jitsu afterwards in Jamie's class, and I'll be watching it, and then I'm leaning like this down. I'm trying not to take, and then I just shut my eyes, and I just falling asleep. I've done it like 3 or 4 times. You know what I mean? But I've been watching this session. There's a class full of people, 30, 40 people. I'm like falling asleep. I'm like, fuck, I hope no one's seen me. I sit up, and then there's always some fucker that's on the other side like pointing at me laughing. You know what I mean? Like, look at Richie, he's falling asleep.
Well, especially this day and age, Instagram generation.
You know what I mean?
You'll be insta famous, wouldn't you?
I'm not falling asleep. I promise. I said, I'm alert. I'm on it. Yeah.
But like, tell us about your channel, mate, because as I said, that's what's got us sort of in touch, really, innit? And you got a blinding channel for anyone who doesn't know. What's it called?
So it's called MMA Guide for Dummies. We're just posting kind of our own little ideas for the minute. We started off. We didn't really know what to post. Me and John, we wanted to post informative content. Right. We did want it to be informative content. And then we realised that people quite like the relatable, funny content. Yeah. So we made a few of those. We do want to get back to the informative content, but we want to reach as wide an audience as possible first. Yep. So might as well make a few funny videos.
Mate, I tell you what, and the reason I say it is because all them sort of gimmicky videos, they drive me. That's not for me. Yeah. Like, they drive me fucking mental. But yours is like, it's fun, isn't it? It's like it's the right balance of sort of just funny.
I'm glad you think so. We try and keep it more as realistic as possible. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? A lot of the scenarios we do are based on like real things. You know, we posted one the other day about like when you get the nice from coach. Everybody's done that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everybody's been drilling a technique, and you don't know if you're doing it well. You're just doing it, and then you hear the coach go, they hit you that. Nice, good job, buddy. And it's like, it's that feeling of happiness kind of just takes you through, you know. Yeah, I got you. And what's the plan with that? Eventually, are you looking to have people on this channel, or is it always going to be you? Are you just going to... I don't know. Yeah. It'd be cool to have people on. Yeah. It'd be cool to have people on. We try and include other people if we can. We've had other people in the videos and stuff. Yeah, nice. I feel like some people aren't always comfortable on camera. Yeah. But we definitely got some big personalities at the gym, especially in the MMA class. So we like to get those guys involved where they're in the gym, where they can be, you know. And you're gonna, is it like, I think you touched on it anyway, but is gonna be, you want this to be sort of a big deal, do you? You want this to be everywhere? Say yes, bro. Come on, let's go. Yeah, we'd love it to be everywhere. We would love it to be everywhere. Yeah. We'd love it to kind of grow up to the point where, you know, like we can get back to the informative content. You know what I mean? I post things that we believe are like more important than just like funny laughing videos, you know what I mean? Yeah, of course, yeah. Because with that kind of thing, it's like I said, I hate that type of stuff normally, but your one's got that nice little vibe about it. So if you keep that, I think you'll be flying with it. Do you know what I mean? Thank you. Like with like fighters that come into this gym here, obviously there's a lot of big time. I say big time because it sounds like you're putting other people down, but like in this gym, it's serious training but good energy is what I'm trying to say. Do you know what I mean? You come in here, it's welcoming. I come in here like for the leg lock class. And it's like my home gym, even though I'm the other side of London, I don't train here regularly. Do you know what I'm saying? Like with that is kind of what I've noticed in my time in martial arts is a big change. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you'd go in gyms before and people are fucking like snarling at you. And like no one wants to talk to you. Nowadays, so many people do it, and I think jiu-jitsu's got a big part to play in that because it's more accessible to the everyman, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? 100%. I think jiu-jitsu is the thing that kind of has like bridged that gap between martial arts being this kind of secretive club where like, oh, it's a bunch of guys that they know they're dangerous, and it makes it kind of like a fake to people just being an everyday person that is decent at martial arts, you know. Because anyone can come into jiu-jitsu, I guess, as well, right? Like you can be a 40-year-old office worker that's never trained before, and you can come in and get on the mats and learn something. Whereas if you're that same person, you ain't going in a boxing club. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? It ain't the same vibe, is it? So, and also jiu-jitsu, I think one of the biggest things that hold people back from striking martial arts is just getting punched in the face. Yeah, it fucking sucks. Nobody likes getting punched in the face. You know, mate, there's some idiots out there like it. Trust me, I know a few. Well, those guys are never going to be professional fighters. You know what I mean? Right, that's the funny thing, right? You ask any professional fighter if he likes getting punched in the face, it's a no. You know what I mean? We're doing everything we can not to get punched in the face. You know what I mean? Do the punching. Yeah. You know what I mean? Well, do you know what? There's a guy. It's not a punching. It's a grappling one. But it was funny when I started wrestling, and there was a guy.
I don't know his name anyway, so I can't mention it, but he used to set up mats on the wall, you know, like puzzle mats. He'd put 4 or 5 puzzle mats on a concrete wall. He'd take like a 10-yard run up and he'd charge head first into it. Boom!
What the fuck?
And go back again. Boom! Like, I don't know what he's trying to work on there, whether he thinks that's helping his takedowns or what. But he's obviously, I mean, you can imagine, without being horrible, you can imagine the kind of character this guy is. Bit nuts, not quite the full ticket, but he was like, he'd run up and this was his drill. I don't know where he is now. He probably ain't doing too well, bless him.
He's in hospital ward.
Yeah, exactly. He don't know his name. Yeah, he's staring off into the distance. But grappling, as I say, it doesn't take too much. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I'm going to second guess myself straight away. I was going to say it doesn't take too much out of your body.
No, it does.
It does. Your knees, your ankles, your hips.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that's sort of down to competition, right? Because if you're competing and you're known as a professional fighter, training martial arts is healthy for your body. But when you're taking it to the extreme to compete and you try, it's a different thing. It's not so healthy anymore, right?
It isn't. It's interesting actually you say that because all the injuries I've got, the major injuries I've got, have always been training for a comp, training for a fight. When I'm just training normally, never injured. Never injured. Having the best time, laughing with my buddies on the mats, you know what I mean? Doing MMA, having fun, even just sparring, never injured. The second the sparring gets real, you know, it starts amping up the intensity. The second the rounds get longer, the second, you know what I mean, you're training for a specific, the jiu-jitsu guys, I know the second they start training for like ADCC rounds, you know, it's a different rule set. They got to think more. It becomes a whole different game. It becomes very dangerous. Just because the level of intensity goes up. So obviously the level of danger goes up, right?
Yeah, of course. And like trusted training partners play a big part in that too, don't they? Because,
definitely.
You know, people get injured a lot with like a white belt, don't they? Who kind of spaz out and whatever. What's interesting with you, obviously you fight in lighter weights, right? Is it harder for you to find training partners, or are you more selective with the training partners?
I'd say it's harder.
Because what I'm saying is, like, if you turn up, you're not like you got to fight in 4 weeks. You're not going to let the 120 kilo guy jump on your leg, are you?
No, exactly. Yeah. No, I wouldn't say I'm more. I would say that I'm more selective with like who I go with on the mat. However, sometimes you just got who you got. Right. You know what I mean? There are some days you turn up, training's a bit sparse. Maybe there's not as many people. Cool, you train with the big guys today. It is what it is. You know what I mean? You just got to be sensible. You have to know that yourself. And also, I feel like people have an air of like egotism around it, where they're like, "Oh no, I can train with anybody. If I don't care if they're 100 kilos, I just walk up to them and tell them. You know what I mean? I've got to fight in 4 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Don't reap my knee. I'd appreciate that.
Well, the problem is the thing like this, isn't it? It's like you said about the ego, about, I can train with somebody. You can. Yeah. But it's like you might get a fucking twisted knee off of it.
Exactly,
so what good is it?
You might do something really well.
Yeah.
And then just something as simple as them trying to escape something messes you up. You know what I mean? And it can be anything.
Mate, I triangled a guy who was about 100, I think he's like 120-ish kilos. Years ago, I was a blue belt, but he was a beginner. I triangled him. But I fucking like pulled me MCL from doing it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the first time the first time I saw somebody injure their, like, tear their meniscus, completely torn it, right? Heard it pop from across the mat. I was like, what the hell was that? It was a guy hitting a triangle with somebody else. Yeah, hit a triangle with somebody else, pulled on his own leg, the guy's pushed it up, bang, and his knee's gone. And I remember screaming and rolling around. I was like, I don't do jiu-jitsu for a little while at that point. I hadn't seen many injuries. I was like, that's what's going to happen to me.
Well, that's it, mate. And that's what happened to me. It wasn't that bad. It was like 6 weeks of rehab and all that shit, and it was fine. But like, it's because he was big, and I'm desperate to fucking put it on. And my technique weren't very good at the time either. But like, you look back and you go, what's the fucking point, right? How many times you popped your elbow, like in a fucking armbar, where you could have just gone, that would do. But I fought my way out of it to be a hero, and you fucking can't drive home. Do you know what I mean? What's the point? But are you sort of jiu-jitsu friendly in terms of, when I say friendly, I mean, are you a big fan of jiu-jitsu because you started in it in the Fight for Peace days?
A big fan. I'm like a medium fan.
All right, okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know nothing. I know a fair bit about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. You better, bro. You're purple, bro.
Yeah, I know the guys at the top. Like, I like to follow. I follow a couple Instagram pages. I follow like B Team Jiu-Jitsu. I like to see what they're doing. I like to keep up with ADCC when it's on. But when it comes to super fights, smaller shows, I'd say I'm less interested. But I like the major shows. I like ADCC.
You do, yeah.
I like ADCC.
See, even them, I catch the highlights, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, I'm not watching it. I'm not like sitting up and watching it. I'm not watching Flow Grappling. Fuck that.
I'll stay up for UFC, but I'm not staying up for ADCC.
Exactly.
I'll find out the results in a moment.
Yeah, man. Again, at the end of the day, they stand there and they act like they've had a fight, but, you know, it's not a UFC fight, is it? You know
it's different, isn't it? And let's be honest, like, I'm a big-time jiu-jitsu lover. I'm into jiu-jitsu all the time, but, like, it ain't the most exciting thing to watch, is it? Do you know what I'm saying?
It can be a lot of just sitting in half guard.
Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And especially if someone goes into shutdown mode and they're playing a specific game, let alone if you don't train jiu-jitsu, you've got no chance of watching it. I've been doing jiu-jitsu like over 10 years, and it's like still like if a game, especially in the gi, no offense you gi guys, but I'm in diesel, so we're safe today. But like if you're watching a high level gi match, and it is high level, but because they're close, it's just, you know, you can.
Yeah, and if you don't know, you don't know. So if you don't know, you're watching it, you're like, what the fuck is going on? But
Yeah.
even if you don't know anything, you know, getting punched in the face hurts. So
That's
when you watch
it.
any
That's what it
UFC
is.
or boxing event, you're like, well, that probably hurts, right?
Yeah. He's shit. He don't know nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to understand getting hit hurts.
Yeah. Do you watch boxing and stuff as well, or do you
A
stay
little
away?
bit, not much. I'm enjoying Riyadh season. I was enjoying that last year. That was really good. That's kicking off again soon, right? That's Tibetan Bivol again.
That's it. Yeah,
That's the first one.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. I lost a bet on that one, so.
Did you? Oh no! It was a close fight as well.
It was. You know, I thought Bivol had it, but it is what it is.
Well, you know what I really like about that is, did you see Bivol's reaction after?
Yeah.
The way he took that.
Yeah, he took
the way he was like, "Is what it is. I
what
lost." He's like, "I think I won," or I don't even think he said he thinks he won. He clearly thought he won.
Yeah,
but he was like,
yeah.
he was kind of like, "This is the decision."
Yeah, he was very nonchalant about it.
I think that should be the way it is. You know, there's nothing worse than a guy going, "Oh, but you know, I've had a bad elbow."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or what Andy Joshua does.
Mate.
After this fight, so he just starts shouting random shit.
That was a bad one.
Even if he loses, that was so weird.
But to be honest, I don't blame him. I blame the people around him. Like,
just
the people around him should have gone, "Oi, hey, Anthony, give me a fucking mic."
Honestly.
You know what I mean? Take the dig off him if you need to. If he's your mate, give me a fucking mic.
Yeah.
Listen, you're going to embarrass yourself here.
Yeah,
and he did, but that's life.
But it was just funny. He just looked so discombobulated.
Yeah.
I reckon he was still probably. I don't think they should film fighters after they've been KO'd at all.
Yeah.
At all. Finished in any way.
Well, he didn't even get KO'd. He just got beat.
And what, by Dubois?
No, Zusi.
Oh,
this was
Usyk.
Usyk.
That
Sorry,
was Usyk.
the Dubois one might be
Dubois
him, but he got knocked, he definitely got knocked out there.
Yeah, exactly, right. But yeah,
the Usyk
one as well.
When he went on a rant after.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, sorry,
Give me the mic back.
Yeah,
Give me that fucking mic. You're not
I
talking.
don't think they should film. I don't know. It is interesting that you should. It is a good point getting the perspective of the loser, but they just lost the fight, man. You know what I mean?
As I say,
at least let him get back in the changing room or something.
I blame his team. I don't blame the person interviewing him. It's their job. I don't blame.
But I mean,
AJ.
I just think the culture of it should be that we film them after.
Yes.
Also, who cares what their opinion is? They lost.
Yeah.
Give the phone to the winner. Cool.
Right.
Let them go to the changing room, shower up, feel a bit better.
Well, that's what Fury did after the
Interview him
Usyk
after.
fight recently.
Yeah.
When he lost the second one, he straight out, didn't he?
Or in UFC fights, it's usually, well, not usually, a lot of the time the main event's done in the cage, but if they do interview the loser, it'll be afterwards.
Yeah.
You know?
And if they get knocked out, they've stopped.
And if they get knocked out, they just don't.
It was the fight, it's like Joe Rogan, he said about Joe Rogan's got to get his interview, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the funny memes of McGregor sitting there with his leg snapped in half and Joe's sitting next to him trying to get his interview. It's like, Joe, give him a sec.
Joe will interview a half dead body if
you know what I
mean? If the UFC tell him to.
Yeah, well, Joe Rogan's an interesting cat, isn't he? Like to have on the thing, not because of his personality, which is interesting in itself, but more because he's rich as fuck. He don't need the UFC, right? So he's almost sitting there like just as
he's doing it for fun,
jolly up. Do you know what I mean? Like
he's just doing it for fun, right? At this point, like he knows a lot about martial arts. Can't deny that. And he's been a pundit, you know what I mean, for years.
Yeah.
Just can't deny that. Mm-hmm. And he does have some good opinions sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's got a massive fan base.
I think the UFC sometimes, bro.
Sometimes. I think the UFC needs him. There's definitely an element of like where he's so large, his podcast is so biggest on the planet, you know what I mean? And he's this massive figure across so many different areas of kind of, I don't want to call it areas of expertise because I don't think he's an expert in anything, but in different areas, the UFC needs him and needs all of his views.
Do you think they need him? Do you think it'll be a big loss when he goes?
I do think it'll be a big loss when he goes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he will be, to be honest.
But I think it will take a long time for them to find a good replacement.
Do you know what? I know what you're saying, but at the same time, I think it'd be like,
can't be John Anik.
Joe Rogan's gone. Never mind. Move on. Do you know what I mean? Like someone like Bruce Buffer, I think would be a bigger loss.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's the voice of it. Yeah, like I want to see that. Like I watched UFC once at the O2. And they had some fucking English schmo on there going, tonight fighting. And I was like, who's this guy? Do you know what I mean? Like, if I watch UFC on TV and Rogan's not commentating, I don't even think about it. Do you see where I'm coming from?
I do know where you're coming from. It's just that the other commentators on there,
there's some bad ones.
They are arse. They are so arse. They are Daniel Cormier. Fuck me. I cannot. Every time that guy says, he gets things wrong constantly. Yeah. And to me, that's the big thing, right? I just don't like people get things wrong constantly.
Well, do you know my problem with Daniel Cormier being on there? I don't hate him like you do. You almost.
I don't hate him.
You almost had a rant there, bro.
He's one of my favourite fighters. That's why it bothers me so much because he's so smart and he knows so much about fighting.
The thing that bothers me with him,
constantly makes mistakes.
Right. The thing that bothers me with him is he almost comes across fake. He's like a choir boy on there. Like tries to talk like in a, and it's like just. Commentate like Rogan does. Like I'm not the biggest Rogan fan either, to be honest with you, but the way he kind of he just is himself. I like that. Do you know what I mean? Michael Bisping's fun to watch.
Michael Bisping is another
John
one.
Anik's another one who's like, not that I'm knocking him, but he's barely a human anymore. He's like a robot, isn't he? Barely sort of. There's no personality there. Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes he talks. I'm like, who the hell is this again? Because he just sounds like an AI. It doesn't even sound real.
Right.
You know.
Right.
At least Daniel Cormier makes mistakes.
Yeah.
But he never, it's the mistakes, man, they get to me. You've been doing this for so long.
So what you're
all the information is in front of you about the fighter, right? Who they are, where they fight for, so much information about.
Just
and
read
he
it,
still
bro.
get things wrong. I don't understand how difficult that is. Like, it's on paper.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Who's your favourite commentator then?
Probably Michael Bisping.
Bisping's good. I
Yeah,
think.
I
I mean,
like
we're probably
Bisping,
biased because he's English, isn't it? And it's a
Maybe
bit more
that too.
familiar. But I like him. I think he's good.
I definitely is that as well.
He's got a good podcast as well. Not as good as this one, but
yeah,
it's good.
not as good as this one. Not as good as this one. You got me.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
We've
Michael
made
Bisping
it.
got me. Yeah.
Mama, we made it. What did they say? Baby, we did it.
Baby, we did it.
Red panty night.
night.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like with the commentators and stuff. Are you big into sort of like watching the countdown shows and all that business, or are you?
We flick them on. I flick them on at the gym sometimes.
Yeah.
So we got a TV up here. We put it
Oh,
on.
you
I
do?
watch it during my shift.
I quite like the countdown shows, but do you know what I've gone off a little bit is the old Embedded.
Really?
I just feel like they're too repetitive. Same thing. Fighters in the hotel.
It does.
fighter going there.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen
And
it.
It is always. It does always cover the same things. It would,
Same
be, it would
things,
be
yeah.
interesting to see it cover some different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I used to like I think it was called Prime Time. Do you remember the old UFC Prime Time? For like big fights, it was like a countdown show.
Okay.
But it'd be a bit more in depth on the two main event fighters.
Right,
I'm probably
right.
showing my age here, bro. You're a
I
bit
can't say that.
younger
I
than
can't
me.
say that I
Do
remember
you know what I
it.
mean?
I've
But
probably
they-
seen them, but I don't remember.
I think they got rid of them for Embedded. So
Right.
it was like Dana White used to do Dana White Vlog. Do you remember
Yeah,
them?
yeah, I
Like,
remember that, I
think
remember
this,
that.
I think
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Embedded was they sort of pieced the two together and met
Yeah.
in the middle. So it
Yeah.
was like got rid of both and whatever. But
Okay.
I think they're a bit dry now. I think they've gone a bit.
Yeah, but it is the same style every time.
Yeah.
Every time it's the same thing. Okay, cool. It's going to be a training montage. Then it's going to be a little family montage. Then it's going back to a training montage because he is serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it's going to be he has to give up his family time. Blah blah blah. It's the same story for everybody.
Exactly.
But it's interesting because it's like you can't. It's hard to advertise it differently. How can you? It's the same for everybody.
Right.
All fighters, we're all just people.
That's true.
Everyone's got a family.
Yeah.
Everyone has to give up a little bit of family time. Everyone has to go and train really hard. Everyone has to give up something. It's not massively different per person.
There's
right?
not a lot you can do with it, is there?
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear that. Because the other fight we haven't spoken about on that card, and when this comes out, this will be after. So I always like to speak about them because we'll see how much we know, right? We're picking fighters, and we can't go back.
That's why
on
I'm
it.
not picking anybody.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? I like them all.
Well, yeah, they're all my friends. They're all
good. They're all good guys. They could all win.
Except Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, except Daniel
if he
Cormier.
sees you, he's going to backhand
No,
you.
I love
me.
DC. This is the best. But goddamn,
But you told me on camera you're going to backhand him if you see him. No, but Jamal Hill versus Yuri Prohaska, which is a mad fight on there, which I'm looking forward to because two former champions. I mean, Yuri Prohaska to me is more of a legit champion because he won the belt, right? Do you know what I'm saying? He won the belt. And he won it from Glover, who didn't really win it off John Jones, and there was a bit of a, it come from Jan Blachowicz, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. But to me, I think he was a bit more of a legit champion. Not that Jamal Hill wasn't, but you know what I'm saying? Like, Jamal Hill got the shot at the title because Prohaska was injured, right?
Yeah.
So for them to fight, I think it's good, but I think it's a mad fight. You got an opinion on that one?
I think Jamal takes it.
You do?
I do think Jamal Hill takes it.
Okay.
I think that Yuri is. I think Yuri is too willing to take shots.
Right. Okay.
It's every fight he does the same thing. Like he'll defend shots with his face, and it's just not. I just hate it. I hate that. He does have that weird element of surprise where it's like, okay, this guy is crazy. He could do anything at any time at 120% power, right? And it could take your head off. It could damage you somewhere.
Yeah.
But I do think Jamal Hill, the Glover Teixeira fight was a good example of his skills. He dragged Glover Teixeira into deep water there. He was in trouble himself, but he did very well. And I do think that Hill has the edge over Yuri.
Yeah. Because in this fight, I tell you what's also interesting, they're both coming off knockouts, aren't they?
They are,
They've both been knocked out.
And by the same guy, right? You know what I mean? They've both been
Yuri
killed
twice.
Yuri twice, exactly,
But he's a special cat, I think, isn't he? And that's an interesting one as well, because Jamal Hill with the video in the PI, you've seen that with Alex Pereira.
Where they had a little bit of a throwdown, right?
Tell me about that one before I give you my opinion.
Jamal Hill looked like a bitch. He looked like a bitch, man. There's no other way to put it, right?
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
You're actively talking shit to somebody in a way that, firstly, you just been KO'd, right? Like, you got knocked out by this guy. Cool.
No problem there. That happens.
That
you know
happens.
What I mean?
It was a fight.
Yeah.
Right? Now you're actively talking shit to him.
And you make excuses. The excuses is what I don't like. Like we said earlier about with Bivol.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Exactly. It happened.
But Glover's like, not Glover, Alex is like, yeah, we'll spar now.
Give him the gloves. Yeah, come in the cage.
You got a lot to say. Let's do this now. And you know what? He just didn't expect it, right?
No.
He definitely has a bigger mouth than his Oscar, right?
But to me, you can't do that, right? Not that we're shitting on Jamal Hill, but it is what it is, right? You can't, if you go, blah, 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 and he goes, come on then, let's have a fight.
Yeah, then you should scrap it out.
Oh, I fight for money. Well, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
You don't talk for money. You're giving it the big one. Let's fucking fight.
Yeah, and also, we did fight for money. You fucking lost. You know what I mean? I knocked you out.
That's what I'm saying.
If I'm Alex, I don't even see the logic.
Yeah.
Right? Alex is almost too he's too much for them. You know what I mean? Like,
and here's the thing too.
He's super real.
Right.
But
this would never happen.
Everywhere.
This would never happen. But if Jamal Hill just said, "Like, come, let's get in the cage," and they had a proper fight, and Alex knocked him out again.
Yeah.
To me, no shame in that. You had a problem, got in there, you had a fight.
It would be foolish. It would be a foolish decision. But it would be way more respectable.
From like an honour point of view. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm a man, I brought it to you.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Especially if you're going to be the one advancing. You know what I mean? Like, you're the one coming into the situation, talking shit, bringing yourself here. Yeah. Alex is just training. Like, Alex was like in the middle of training, right? Yeah. He's like legit hitting pads with his pad man. And,
I love Alex, the way he did the gloves. Let's have a fight.
Let's have a little scrap.
No problem.
No big deal. And you know what? If that had happened, I doubt that would have got posted. If that had happened, I doubt that would have got posted.
Well, do you know what I think? If that had happened too, they'd have ended up having quite a technical spar.
Yeah.
And they'd have been respectful to each other.
Yeah.
I think how that would have gone.
Maybe. Alex looked a little bit annoyed.
Yeah.
Which means he might have just
I just think he's on such another level than Jamal.
Yeah, man.
Like, you can make all
his striking is so different,
Here's what we talk about Rogan and stuff, but I think his opinion on some things is sideways. Like, he was talking about, you know how, like, the knockout where he sort of palms off Herb Dean and then struts forward and knocks him out. I'm not buying that he closed the distance. Jamal Hill was on his feet. Jamal Hill could have stepped back if he wanted to. Do you know what I mean? Jamal Hill could have moved wherever he wanted.
Oh, do you mean when he touches Herb Dean and says, wait a second? Yeah.
He's saying, I messed up his distance.
Nah, man, it's cool. Hey, Ben.
How you doing, mate? To me, it's a knockout, right?
Nah, man, it's a KO. It's an amazing KO as well. You know what I mean? You got kicked in the groin.
Yeah.
Didn't complain about it. Yeah. Said, give me a sec, I'm about to chin this fucker. And then did it. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Yeah. Didn't even look at Herb Dean, which I love.
Didn't even look. He's like, no, don't come near me, man. Yeah.
Don't
even make me move. I'm going to chin this guy. Give me 1 second.
I'm a big fan of him. I think he's so far ahead of the competition in light heavyweight. It's not even funny.
100%. And it's hard to say anything against him.
I want him to go heavyweight. I want him to go heavyweight. I want to see it.
I think him and I've gone off the idea of John Jones ever fighting anybody.
Really?
Right?
Well, he wants Pereira, doesn't he? He keeps talking about Pereira.
I don't think he'll fight Pereira.
You don't?
I don't think he'll fight Pereira. I think him and Tom Aspinall is a great fight. Pereira and Tom Aspinall. I think that's a sick fight. I think that's the fight they should make it heavyweight. Bin John Jones off. Let him retire as the GOAT. Whatever happens, what happens. Because he's just holding up divisions. He held up division for years. He had a fight. Cool. He fought Stipe Miocic. Shouldn't have happened. Such an arse decision for that decision to have happened, especially when they'd given Tom Aspinall an interim at that point, right?
Yeah, he was already interim.
He was an interim.
Very strange.
So what the hell was the champion doing fight somebody else?
And he was standby for that fight.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's insane. That is literally insane.
Very strange.
That is literally them being under John Jones' thumb. You know what I mean? Where John Jones goes, I don't want that fight. I want this fight. Yeah. You have to give me this fight for whatever reason. And I'm not going to fight the dangerous young competitor.
Yeah,
cool.
That's weird when he said that. Yeah, he said that he don't want to fight the young guy.
Yeah,
like, if you're champ, you got to.
Right. If you're going to make those decisions, that's fine. But at this point, as a company, I think you should make the decision that you're not going to fight anymore. Yeah. Because what you're doing, right? You're not fighting the good guys. There is legit 2 good guys here. Pereira coming up if he wants to.
Especially Aspinall. He's got the interim. Aspinall. You got to fight him.
Bro, him not fighting Aspinall.
But I can half stomach
it.
It's weak. It is weak. I agree, and but I can stomach the Stipe one if it's a one-off and then you fight Aspinall. I think that's fair game. He's earned that. Do you know what I mean?
Is there any noise of fighting Aspinall?
I think he will.
I think he will, yeah?
I think he will. Because I think to John Jones, it's important for him to be the greatest of all time. And if he goes in there, and I said this the other day on a podcast, I forget which one I was talking to, but if he goes out there and loses to Tom Aspinall, it's better for his legacy than not fighting him. Now, I know at first glance I think it is.
I think so. I don't know if he thinks so.
That's my point. I think he doesn't see it that way.
He's the kind of guy that goes, no, I retired as undefeated, right? Because his hammer one got overturned, right?
Did it? I don't know. They're talking about it. But even if it doesn't, it's bullshit anyway.
Right. Even at this point, if it doesn't, whatever happens.
They changed the rules, didn't they? Yeah, so if it was today's rules, that wouldn't have been a disqualification. He'd have won by knockout.
Right. Exactly. But now it is. But then it wasn't. So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But anyway, he's like, I think that he has the ego where it's like, if I retire undefeated, then I'm undefeated. Yeah. You know what I mean? That if I retire, I've never taken a loss other than DQ. Then I'm the best. Yeah. I don't think he'll take the risk of fighting Tom Aspinall.
No. And
also, I do think Tom Aspinall has a very, very good chance of beating him.
I do.
A very, very good chance. John's getting
very
old.
real chance.
John looked good against Stipe. Sure he did, right? But he was fighting a guy that's well past his prime.
Yep.
Well past his prime. Coming off some hard fights as well. Who was an active competitor who's taken a massive gap as well in his competition, right? Who was the last person Stipe fought?
Got knocked out in Ghana.
Ghana, right, and got KO'd. Yeah.
It was like 3.5 years ago
Yeah,
as well.
and that 3.5 years out of competition.
And he's 43, I think. Do you know what I mean?
This is insane. What the hell are you doing? You're the champ.
Yeah.
The fact that the champ hasn't even fought in that time is insane as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh no, he did. He fought Cyril Gane, right? But
and he got injured after, so I can stomach him being off.
Yeah.
But he's like, I agree. I think there's
him avoiding Ngannou is crazy. That was.
Do you think he avoided Ngannou?
Oh, 100%. I think he avoided Ngannou. Yeah.
How do you think he'd have done against Ngannou?
That's another one, very interesting. Obviously, when Stipe fought Ngannou the first time, he showed that Ngannou has weaknesses, right? And Jones being an amazing wrestler is quite telling of how that fight would go. I think Jones just wrestled fucks the shit out of him. The same way he did to Cyril, but I think the fight goes longer, right? I do think it goes longer.
Big, powerful man, isn't
I think it does, yeah.
That's a big problem.
I think...
Do you see his last one? I know it's in a different promotion against a guy who's not the level of John Jones.
Yeah.
But he still looked like...
He still looked like Ngannou.
Yeah. And he wrestled him, didn't he? Took him down.
Yeah.
Again, he's not wrestling John Jones.
Man, if he comes out with knee pads on, that's a different game. You know what I mean? He come out with knee pads on. I was like, oh, this guy's going to wrestle. What the fuck?
He means it now. And also in Ghana...
He did that in the UFC as well, right?
Yeah.
He come out with knee pads on for his... I think it was his last UFC fight.
I think he had one on, didn't he? Because he had a knee issue. Did he have one on or something? I can't remember. It doesn't...
Okay. But I was like, he's got a knee pad on. I was like, he's going to wrestle.
He means it.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And he did. I was like, wow, I was quite impressed.
Yeah, but he's had a hard time, hasn't he? Like, he's lost his son in Ghana.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But also, he's rich as fuck now. So
He
that
is.
changes things in terms of, like, you can do what you want, right?
Yeah,
He's at the point now where he's like, if you don't want to take a fight,
yeah,
you know, I can do what I want now. I'm set. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. You know, he took a money fight against Anthony Joshua. He lost that, got killed.
And Fury before that.
And Fury,
He beat Fury, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I think he did too.
I think he beat Fury.
I think he did too. So he had two very good boxing matches. Well, the loss to Anthony happened quite quickly, but it is what it is. And he's one of the best boxers in the world, right? Undeniable. And you know, now he's back doing his thing in MMA and he's doing well. So yeah.
But it just is what it is, isn't it? You know
Yeah.
what I mean, you can't expect to go in there with a high-level boxer as an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Every now and then, of course, it did against Fury, but there's a lot of moving parts in there. Like, the reality is, how would Anthony Joshua do in an MMA fight against Ngannou?
That's a very interesting.
Terrible. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't going to last long the same way it didn't the other way around.
Yeah, there are no. I think there's only one instance, right, of a boxer doing well in MMA.
Which one?
I've forgotten, man. It was.
There was Ray Mercer done one.
Black guy.
Ray Mercer, Tim Sylvia.
Yeah.
So Ray Mercer was a former heavyweight champion in boxing. Tim Sylvia was the UFC heavyweight champion.
That was it.
And it was and I don't think I'm exaggerating either when I say I think it was an 8-second knockout or 6-second knockout.
He runs out.
Literally runs out, overhand right and chins him.
Yeah.
They're both past their prime anyway, so it doesn't hold too much weight. But like we saw James Toney come into the UFC against Randy Couture, right?
Yeah. Did absolutely terribly.
People know now, right? You got to. It is what it is.
Tony was a bad man as well.
Bad guy.
Yeah.
Started his career at light middleweight, I think. Shouldn't have been a heavyweight.
But a bit like Usyk, right? Like started at a super.
But Usyk's a big man who grew into the weight, whereas Tony just decided he wanted to eat more. Do you know what I mean? Like, I ain't doing all this diet shit. Give me that Coke.
That's true.
Guess Coca-Cola, by the way. But he's,
who knows?
Who knows? I don't know. Hey, don't shoot the messenger.
Could be doing whatever.
There you go. But he's. Do you think the fight? You don't think the fight will happen? I mean, against Aspinall with John Jones. You don't think it's happening?
I don't think it will happen.
See, I do, and I tell you what, I think it's just a money play from Jones.
Yeah.
I think he's playing the game of like, pay me 30 million.
He is getting older as well.
He is, yeah. It's going to end at a certain point.
I do think that he doesn't want to risk the L because it's a massive risk. Tom will be the biggest risk to his title that has been since like Gus, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Or Dominic Reyes.
Yeah.
Right, that was another close one.
That was the one where I think he probably lost.
Yeah,
right? That was the one. I think even the Gustafsson fight, I think he won that fight.
Yeah,
I think it was a good fight, but I think he won.
Yeah, but look at the Dominic Reyes fight, right? He took a fight against again, it's a similar situation. He took a fight against somebody that's quite considerably you're younger. Yeah. Right? Super athletic. Very good kind of everywhere. Right? And Tom kind of is that again. Right? And now you're older. And the gap is growing.
Was a part of that though, the Reyes one, was that a part of like he was over the light heavyweights, John Jones? Because you can turn up and be like, whatever, right?
Say that again, sorry.
Like he was over it in terms of fighting at light heavyweight.
Oh,
Jones,
right,
he was distracted, he didn't want to do it anymore. He's kind of looking past these people. I know it sounds like you're making an excuse for him, but I think there's something to it.
But I mean, but he would say that, right? Because he did say that before. Against
right.
DC, what was he saying all the time? Oh, I beat you on a night out after partying and doing coke and being with girls and drinking. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he likes to say that kind of thing. Yeah. I don't remember him saying that after Dominic Reyes fight.
No.
Maybe he did, but I don't think he came up with those excuses after Dominic Reyes fight.
Yeah.
I think he knows that fight was close.
It was, yeah.
He knows he probably could have lost that fight on quite a few scorecards.
Right, but I think he lost the fight on the way you score MMA. But if you look at it as a whole fight, he was coming on stronger at the end, John Jones.
Yeah.
Now, here's a point. This is why I bring it up, because I've said this on here before. I might be a broken record, but hey, with MMA, I do think it should be scored. Well, before I say it, I think it should be scored differently. What do you think about the MMA scoring system?
So at the moment, it's scored like a 10-9 must, right?
Yeah. Scored by rounds. Basically.
Yeah, scored by rounds. Yeah. I'm not mad at the way it's scored. I'm not mad at the way it's scored because I do think that every round should count, right? It shouldn't just be how did the last round go. You know, if I beat the crap out of somebody for 4 rounds and then in the last round they come out like a madman because they know that they've lost 4 rounds, I shouldn't lose a fight because of that, right? If I play on the defensive because it's the last round and I'm up 4 rounds and they come out, you know, swinging for the fences, I shouldn't lose a fight for that, right? They're down 4 rounds. I beat the piss out of them for 20 minutes. So yeah, I'm not massively mad at the way that.
But he's like, I don't know if you've ever been to a one championship.
Yeah.
They score it as a whole.
I like one championship.
They score it as a whole.
Yeah.
They don't score rounds, which I like. Because here's my thinking on it. I don't think it should be. I think it should be scored as a fight, and I don't think there should be criteria like, oh well, he took him down and he did this and that. If you watch a fight, like if me and you were here, and I've said this before too, if me and you are somewhere, and I know it's not exactly the same, but similar. If me and you watch 2 people fight out there, right? At the end of it, whatever happens, me and you go, who won that fight? We got an idea, right? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, I know it's not as easy as that to score an MMA fight, but I think it should be more along them lines. Do you see what I'm saying? Because if me and you later go, oh yeah, but maybe he didn't win because he ankle picked him at one point. But I forgot, so it wasn't that relevant. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
In terms of
I think damage should take precedent.
Yeah.
I think damage should 100% take precedent. Then I think it should be control time.
Right. Okay.
Right. But it's how you score those things is really difficult.
But that's what I'm saying. I think you should take that out of it. Just watch it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
As an opinion, just give an opinion on the end.
That's an interesting idea.
What I mean? Now I know that's open to interpretation.
But then you're going to have recency bias.
Of course you are.
You're going to forget the 6 fucking submission attempts he had that the guy was nearly passed out in.
But I think that's part of it. If it's recency bias, there's a reason it's recency bias because that wasn't that relevant because you still was there.
Because you're still out. Yeah, you still got out or whatever. You know what I mean? If
me and you fight and I'm on top for 3 rounds, right? Because it's a bit closer than 4 and 1.
Sure.
3 rounds, I'm winning and I'm on top. I take you down a few times. I'm pressuring you and whatnot. The next 2 rounds, you kick me in the face, drop me heavy, hurt me, and win like that for 2 rounds. Do you see where I'm coming from? You should win in a way.
At the moment, I think the MMA scored like in a similar way where the championship rounds do have more of a sway on the judge's decision.
Right. Okay.
I do think they do.
Yeah.
I think that we've seen that happen quite a few times. I think quite a few times in championship fights we've seen the champion take a back step.
No, that's fair.
Or take like not a back step, but like come off the pedal a little bit in the first few rounds and ramp it up. 3rd, 4th, 5th round, maybe just 4th, 5th round, and take the dart. Let me get it.
Dart. Sorry. What's going on here?
It's a bloody sensor light.
High tech round here, isn't it? Over this side of the river.
But yeah, so I do think it is kind of done like that right now.
Right.
Where there are some times where the later rounds do have more of a sway in the judge's opinion. I like your idea though about scoring it overall. Yeah. That is interesting. Yeah. But I don't think that like things like good submission attempts or takedowns should be forgotten about.
Right. No, I hear you. I'd get rid of rounds too if it was completely up to me. I'd just have a 15-minute fight.
In a basketball pitch,
Nah, fuck that. I'm not into that.
On hardwood floor.
Nah, none of that. It's fine the way it is, but if you're going to do it, get rid of the rounds and score it as it is. You know.
Yeah.
I personally, now I know it's kind of changing a lot.
I like the idea of getting rid of the rounds.
Right.
Okay, let me
just
get
have a 15-minute fight.
Yeah, give me 25 minutes.
Because that's when it changes. That's when like your early stuff can work or not. Because if you're, let's say you're beating me early, badly, but by 6 minutes into the round, you're gassed.
Yeah.
And now start to take over.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? That's all part of it to me. Because Joe Rogan spoke about this as well. He spoke about like restarting in the same position. To me, that's the biggest load of nonsense ever.
In the same position?
In the same, like, you know, if me and you finish, I'm in top side.
Yeah.
And then the round ends and we just come out and start fighting again. Joe Rogan's talked about he wants you to start back in that position.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Load of nonsense. Because you've had a rest. That's why I would sooner get rid of rounds before that. Do you see what I'm saying? I'd get rid of, so if you can't get up, you can't get up. You're stuck there.
I like that idea. I like the idea of getting rid of the rounds.
I think that's cool. But personally, I'd go a step further. Now, outside of eye gouging and biting, I'd open it out.
To groin strikes?
Groin strikes.
Groin strikes?
Groin strikes. Defend yourself.
You should watch my video.
Defend
video
yourself.
on how to throw a good groin strike.
Oh, you got one of them? Brilliant.
It's how to throw a groin strike.
All ties in. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, defend yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Now,
That's
I know it's not quite that clear cut, and there's, you know, I'm not married to the idea of getting rid of adding groin strikes. I'm fine with keeping it as illegal. But I just feel like shots to the back of the head, defend yourself. Do you know what I mean? I feel like
I do know what you mean. I do see what you mean, actually.
Down opponent stuff, like you should be able to kick them, knee them.
I believe in that. I believe you should be able to kick down opponent, knee down opponent. I don't believe they should
get
be
up.
able to.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because I think there's elements of gaming the system where it's like you'll slay.
But 100% there have to be, right? There has to be a little bit element of gaming the system.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Because if you're going to put in rules, then there has to be a way to get around those rules, slightly, right? So like for instance, the cage, right? If we're taking away rules, we might as well take away a cage. But we need to keep a fight in a certain area, right?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Just keep a cage.
You keep a cage, but then people are going to cage wrestle. You know what I mean?
But that's fine, because that's an element. If me and you get into a fight in here, and you push me up against the wall, right, it's there, it's real, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If we get into a fight outside and I'm up against the car,
that's true.
I might roll you over the car. So to me, I don't have so much of a problem with that. It's more like if I'm on my knees and you can kick me in the face, but I go,
now you can't.
I go,
That is changing slightly.
It is, they're changing rules. They are changing rules.
For my last fight, I could have. I think it was my last fight. Yeah, that was in November, and they changed the rules in November. I would have been allowed to like knee my opponent in the head had he put his hand on the floor and not his knees. Right. So if he was on his feet and he reached down with a hand, typically before I couldn't knee him in the face. But now I can. None of those situations happened in our fight, but the chance would have been there.
Because I think the game will evolve. And Robin Black, do you remember Robin Black? He spoke about things similar to this. And it's like the game will evolve because like let's go like quite an extreme one, like kicking you in the balls, right? If I'm allowed to kick you in the balls, things will adapt, and eventually there won't be that many kicks in the balls. Do you see what I mean? I think it will change to the point. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas if you're stood in front of me, I know you don't, but if me and you just stand square on in front of each other, for example, it's very open to kicking the balls. Sure. Versus if I'm allowed to kick you in the balls, your stance is going to water, isn't it? So over time, I think the game will change and it will become. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it won't eliminate, of course.
Do we allow cups? If you're getting kicked in the bollocks, do you still get to wear a cup? Because if I'm wearing a cup, if I'm wearing a good cup, I'm buying a diamond cup.
Yeah,
cool, kick me in the bollocks.
I'll break your foot. Fuck cups.
I'll smash your foot in half.
We're taking cups out.
I'll come like this straight into your foot, I'll break your fucking foot in half.
We're taking cups out. You know what I mean? Cups shouldn't be allowed anyway for arm bars. Like, have you ever had someone in jiu-jitsu?
In jiu-jitsu is different.
Well, I've had someone on my back once years ago.
And they hip in. Oh, that fucker can fuck right off, man.
Thing out my back.
Yeah, man, I hate that shit. I hate that shit, man. I see people put their cup on, getting ready for jiu-jitsu in the change room. I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, I'm doing jiu-jitsu. I'm like, I don't think you should wear a cup, mate.
Stop it.
It's not allowed.
I've never wore a cup for jiu-jitsu. I've never wore a gum shield.
You can't wear one in competition.
No.
So you should be able to. I've worn a gum shield. I've lost my two front teeth. I lost my two front teeth in judo, right?
You're off the team, bro. You're off the bus.
I took a dirty knee to the face and lost my two front teeth in the judo. Just in training.
That's why you got to work on your head movement.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Should have been closer to it.
That's what I'm saying, you shouldn't let me, bro. But I've never done anything with that.
You never worn a gum shield either?
The most I get is I wear a pair of spats to stop my knee scratching on the floor if I'm shooting a heavy double.
That's a bitch move.
That's a bitch move?
That's a bitch move,
Well, now I've got to stop doing it. No more spats for me.
We take the little bit of mat burn. I've got mat burn on my nose, mat burn on my knees.
Fuck out of here. I bet you've got the cup in the bag and everything. You wear the head. Do you know what drives me nuts? There's a geezer, I won't mention his name because he's young, bless him. He's a lovely kid.
Name him, shave him.
He's young. He's a lovely kid.
He knows who
but
he is.
He wears like a rugby. To avoid cauliflower ear.
Yeah.
Bro, just get yourself some cauliflower ears.
I've got the best cauliflower. I think me and you got some of the
best.
We got
some nasty stuff. Yeah.
We got pretty bad.
But we're going to say that because we got the cauliflower ears.
It's manly, man. I like it. Cauliflower.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, man.
What I tell you what's funny with me,
I get the best comments from bouncers.
Do you?
Every time I go anywhere, if it's a pub, if I'm going anywhere, restaurant,
straight through, sir.
If it's got a security guard, they're like, oh, we're not going to have to pull it for you today, are we, mate? Blah, 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 blah. Well, they always let me in for free or half price or whatever. I'm always happy with that.
Well, I mentioned to you earlier, I was in Berlin. The policeman at the airport mentioned it to me. He said, oh, you do fighting, huh?
Yeah.
And of course, now I've grown 2 inches. Yeah, bro, yeah.
Just that.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Respect. Yeah, I mean, but I didn't have anything for about 7 years of grappling. And then suddenly it just blew up on me one day. Yeah, I had nothing.
I got mine like 7 months.
Really? Yeah, but that's how it goes, though. You typically get it early or you don't get it, right? And people used to, like bro science on them, you won't get it, you got floppy ears, you're all right. But then all of a sudden, it just blew up on me one day for no apparent reason.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's mental, but such is life. I'm not as good looking as I used to be. Big Ash is back. Jumping on the podcast, bro.
Definitely Big Ash, look at him.
Jumping on, he's massive, Jesus Christ. You got to get invest on more often, bro. Is that right? Very good, there you go. I got you. Bring your gold medal and just act like you don't know it's on. Oh, I didn't realise I was wearing it. But so going forward, mate, have you got fights coming up? You got a date?
So I should be fighting in early March.
Right.
Trying to get something confirmed then.
Nice.
Luckily, that also coincides. Well, kind of unluckily, but that also coincides with Tibetan New Year.
Okay.
So like I mentioned earlier, I'm from Tibet.
Yeah.
So that coincides with Losar.
Yeah, I got you. That's all right, mate. Very good.
Hey, just hey there, baby. Good.
That's what me.
Sorry.
It's all right, mate. Work in gym, as we said. Work in gym. So you're very proud. You got Tibet on the hat, actually, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm very proud of where I'm from. But yeah, like I said, if I can fight on Tibetan New Year, that'd be a big deal for me. I'd love that. That'd be amazing.
When's Tibetan New Year?
So it stretches between February 28th and March 1st, March 2nd.
Oh, right. Is it like a... sorry, it's March 28th. Yeah, sorry, February 28th is the same day, isn't it, basically?
Yeah, exactly. It covers a couple of days because it's the Lunar New Year. So it's when the new moon is. New moon lasts a couple of days.
What happens on a leap year, out of curiosity?
It doesn't apply to us.
Oh, it doesn't?
Leap year only applies because you have 365 and a quarter days, right?
Right.
We don't have 365 and a quarter days. We go by the new year, by the new moon.
Huh?
So because it's just whenever the new moon is.
So are you behind or in front? How does that work? You'll be behind.
We're ahead.
You're ahead.
We're
What's
ahead.
What year is it in Tibet?
I could tell you exactly. It's like 2,700 something.
Oh, really? Oh, they're way ahead of us.
Yeah, couple
you know
hundred
what?
years.
It's funny.
Not many years.
You know, it's funny you say that.
Some calendars are way ahead, right?
It's funny you say that. There was a teacher I had when I was about 9 years old at school, and she was a bit of a hippie, like looking teacher. She used to travel the world and all that in her school holidays. And she said once about Tibet, and like...
Oh, it's only 21, 50 something. So not that
still
many.
far ahead of us, still...
Yeah, couple.
121 years ahead of us? 131 years
Something along those lines.
Jesus Christ, I'm getting crucified in the comments for my maths there, aren't I?
Somebody will correct us in the comments. Hopefully.
Yeah, but she said that. She said about Tibet, and she said she was talking about Mount Everest and Tibet this and Tibet that, and then it was like, because they're way ahead of us, they're futuristic, ha 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 ha. And, we're all like 9. We're all just looking at her like too young for the joke. I didn't realise she meant it. I thought she was just like one of them dopey teachers that was giving you a bit of like, oh, look at me, I've been to Tibet.
I've been everywhere.
Because Tibet is, where is Tibet? Which part of the world? It's like it's Thailand sort of way, innit?
No, so it's more west than that. So it's situated along the Himalayan mountains,
right?
And large parts of Tibet are situated now within
China,
within the Chinese border.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's west of China, is it?
It is west. Yes.
Okay, cool.
It is on the west and south side.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So Tibet now, it's a disputed territory. So we obviously fight for a free Tibet. Mm-hmm. They believe that the CCP government believes
that's what the hat's for. Free
that's
Tibet.
What the hat's for.
Bro, but I would have got me one. We'd have both been sat in free Tibet hats. That would have been brilliant.
Well, I hope you're going to get a lot. Well, you might. I sometimes get a lot of like Chinese bots replying underneath like Instagram stories and stuff.
Like threatening you?
Yeah, or just talking shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hashtag free Tibet's going to be in the story.
Damn right, baby. Damn right.
Yeah. But that's good. So what's are you going out there for it? Or?
No. It's very hard to get to Tibet.
Is it? Okay.
It's very difficult. Because again, because it's under the Chinese Communist Party rule, so it's very hard to travel there. Right. If you want to travel there, you have to get specific visas, specific travel allowances. Being from Tibet, it also makes it harder to go back there. They don't like Tibet.
I was just going to ask you that. Is it more difficult for you to go there than me?
Yeah, it would be. It would be. It's very difficult for Tibetans to get to Tibet. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Tibet?
I've been once, luckily, when I was younger.
Right.
I was there for a long time, and then I came back.
But if you wanted to, theoretically, if you said, fuck it, I want to move there, could you move there? Is that different?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, I doubt it, actually.
Right.
I doubt it. When you go to Tibet, it's very much similar to how people go to North Korea.
So you go
on a guided tour. You can't stray from the tour. You can talk to the people they tell you to talk to. You can see the things they tell you to see. They will take you to historic sites, and then you will leave with them as a party. There's not like a free travel. Where I'm from as well isn't near the major cities.
Right.
I'm from quite deep Tibet. I'm from an area called Kamba or Kham region, and my family. When I went there, it took us 2 days to get there by horse.
By horse?
Yeah, there were no roads when I went there, like over 10 years ago. It's 2 days travel by horse. It's a day travel by jeep. So we do you do a day travel from China to Tibet, then you do a day travel from the main city to another city by jeep. Then you do 2 days by horse into the mountains because there are no roads. So it's very remote.
Mate, we might have to do it part 2 in Tibet one day. That sounds brilliant.
I've always wanted to go back, but it's very difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a traveling there and living there would be very difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
And what do the people of Tibet see themselves as? They don't want to be part of China.
No, we don't want to be part of China. We've never wanted to be part of China. We're Tibetan through and through. We're a different culture. We're different people.
Do you have your own language?
We have our own language. We have our own religion. We have everything is different. And it's a funny one as well because even if you ask Chinese people, if you show them a picture of Tibetan people, you'd be like, "Are these people Chinese?" You'd be like, "No."
Right.
You'd be like, "No, they're not." And that's fine. You know what I mean? It's just a governmental thing.
Well, Taiwan sort of a similar.
Taiwan's in a similar situation. Hong Kong's in a similar situation. You know what I mean? And China's made of a lot of sort of ethnic groups, and a lot of those ethnic groups want to be Chinese, and that's fine. But a lot of those ethnic groups don't want to be Chinese as well. But the CCP wants everybody to be a blanket. You know, they want to put a blanket stamp on it. It's the same as like Uyghurs and people from Inner Mongolia. They want to put
Uyghurs, who are they?
The Uyghurs are they're like the Muslim territory of like eastern China, just north of Tibet. Again, another disputed territory, and another disputed people that want to have their own, that want to be, you know, governed by themselves, ruled by themselves, but they're not. And again, China does terrible things to them. They put them in concentration camps, same as Tibetan people, put them in prison, arrest them for anything, squash their religion. China is very anti-religion, so in China there is no religion. Like a lot of countries have a religion. Like England is traditionally a Christian place. And everybody has its own religion, and that's great. But the Communist Party is anti-religion, so they're anti-Buddhist, anti-Islam, anti-Christian, anti-Jews, anti-everything, right? So in Tibet, for instance, if you're a Tibetan person and you have a picture of the Dalai Lama, who's our spiritual leader, that's prison time. You know, if you're a Uyghur and you practice Islam, that's prison time. If you're, you know, they do terrible things to people in prison as well. They force the Uyghurs to eat pork, you know, and eat pig, which is obviously massively against Islam. And they don't allow Tibetan people to speak in Tibetan or learn Tibetan schools. So China does all kinds of bullshit things around the world, and everyone knows they do it. All the governments know they do it. But China's a massive superpower, right? It's hard to do anything against them. You could just got to do what you can, raise awareness where you can.
Man, for sure, get me a free Tibet hat.
I will get you a hat.
Get me a hat.
Get you a hat.
One of them.
I'll get you a
hoodie or something.
I'll get you something.
We'll have like a trade-off.
Yeah, man.
Do you speak Tibetan yourself?
I'm trying to learn. I've always been trying to learn. It's very difficult. Obviously, I'm half Tibetan. So it's not easy, and it's a very difficult language to learn. Especially because for a large part of my life when I was younger.
Different alphabet, I'm assuming.
Yeah, different alphabet as well. Everything is different. It's similar to like Sanskrit. Really? That's what it's derived from. But I didn't live with my dad. I lived with my mum.
Right.
And obviously, you speak your mother's language the best, right?
And where's your mum from?
Well, she's from a mix of places as well. But I was born here, we spoke English growing up, you know what I mean? So spoke English growing up. But then like I said, when I went to Tibet when I was younger, I learned a lot of Tibetan. I picked up a lot of Tibetan because I was just talking to Tibetan people. Nobody speaks English, right? You go there for 6 months, you go there for 3 months, nobody speaks English. So you pick things up fast.
Mate, I'll tell you what, if you're going 2 days on a fucking horse to somewhere, they've probably never even seen a white man, have they?
Yeah. It was crazy as well. A lot of them hadn't seen people that looked like me and my sister.
Oh, really? You don't look like you're Tibetan either?
No, well, we look different.
Right.
I look a lot less Tibetan than my sister does. I think she looks more Tibetan than I do.
Okay.
But you know, at the time, I think a lot of people there hadn't seen anybody look like us.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's very remote, you know what I mean? Very remote place. And nobody traveling to those kind of remote villages, right? They've got there's no reason to. No. You know what I mean? You're not going to go there on holiday.
No.
And those people aren't leaving. Those people are farmers or were
they
farmers.
They ain't got iPhones.
Yeah. Well, they do now.
They do.
Oh, man, I got a cousin like video chatting me from Tibet. It's crazy.
Funny, isn't it?
Yeah. It's actually insane. It's changed a lot. It's a growing place. It's changed a lot.
Yeah, I got you. That's cool. What's the flight time there? If you're going there, we're talking like 12 hours.
Oh, whatever happens, this is the PSA for people as well. Don't think you can fly to Tibet. Whatever people tell you, it's not safe, because flying to the Tibetan National Airport, which is Lhasa International Airport, is the highest airport in the world. You're dropped off going from sea level, which is England, right? So you take any flight from England, it'll be sea level. If you dropped off in Lhasa, you'll be dropped off at like 20,000 feet. So you walk off the plane and you're like, the altitude sickness will hit you straight away. And there have been people before that have flown, stepped off the plane and had heart attacks.
Oh, really?
Because the altitude's so different. So what you should do is get a plane to China and travel across.
Fuck.
Or get a plane somewhere else, India, Nepal, and travel across.
Yeah. Have you ever trained at altitude by any chance?
I haven't.
I've trained at a mile above sea level in Denver.
Yeah.
So
how did you find that?
Fine. While you're training, absolutely. I've said this before on here, and I don't know whether it's, I don't know, because you're fit or what. Like, I was in shape, do you know what I'm saying, training. But I noticed it after. So if I trained with you now and we sparred, it would feel no different to me in Denver's training here. Yeah. It literally goes hard for as many rounds, blah, blah, blah. But when I go back to the hotel room at night, that's my day done. There's no like, let's get dressed up and go for dinner. There's none of that shit. That's like, my day's over. Especially the first day, the room fucking spinning. Do you know what I mean? And you're whatever. But what someone said to me as well with that is might be because it's shock on your system, so your body hasn't got time to adapt. Like when I was there, I was only training for like a week or 10 days. So my body's not really adapted to the altitude. Whereas they said like, if you stayed there for 5 weeks, after a certain amount of weeks, someone's probably going nuts, knows more about this guy. That's fucking not true. But anyway, what they were saying was basically if you stayed there longer and your body starts to adapt and your red blood cells start to up and all that, that's when you'd find it harder training.
Okay.
That's what, because when I went to It's the Denver Broncos, I think it is.
Nice.
The American football, right? You go out there. I did the tour of the stadium, like proper fucking
proper tourist, yeah.
Proper tourist, like
Union Jack.
I got the fucking hat on and everything, right? And they, I didn't get a free Tibet hat today, but I'm not sure about it.
I'll get you one.
But like they have the things, and they say like because the American football is money coming out of everywhere, right? They say they fly in like close to the match, and fly out straight out after, so they don't have a time to get the altitude sickness.
Oh, okay.
Like because if you stay there for a certain amount of time, when your body starts adapting is when it slaughters you.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah,
interesting.
That's my bro science on it, guys. There you go. So what's coming up for you, mate? As I said, I asked you about the fight, and we kind of glossed over it, didn't we?
No, it's okay. It should be fine. Early March.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to that.
Have you got an opponent yet?
I am looking to get one. It should be on Cage Warriors Academy.
Very good.
That's what I've heard. It is a pro fight. It should be in Colchester. Shout out anybody who wants to come through. Just hit me up for tickets. And then hopefully be fighting again after that soon. Yeah, I don't want to waste time this year. Nice. I want to fight. I don't have big events going on or anything. Not have any holidays planned or anything. So yeah, I want to fight 4, 5, 6 times this year, hopefully. And yeah, I should be fighting again quickly after that.
Very good. And now, before we finish up, mate, you got any sponsor or anything you want to shout out?
I do not at the moment, actually. So anybody that wants to sponsor me, wants to sponsor the MMA Guide for Dummies Instagram page, wants to give us anything, any advice, any help, anything for free, much greatly appreciated.
Goes for a Squeeze the Neck podcast as well, guys. Maybe we'll team up. Maybe we'll sponsor each other.
That'd be fantastic.
Things and we're like,
I'll get you a hat.
There you go. You get me a hat, and we'll be friends from there on. But mate, I really appreciate it. It's been a fun one. Before we do finish, I always ask the most important question of the day. You're from the wrong side of the river, so you might hurt my feelings on this one. Which football team do you support?
I don't watch football.
Chelsea, very good. Well done, my guy. Top man.
I don't watch football. But if I did, it'd be West Ham.
All right.
Yeah,
hey.
Yeah,
we was doing well. We was doing well. But mate, I really appreciate it. Always finish with a fist up like this, mate.
Let's go,
Squeeze the neck. Boom.